Okay, guys, welcome to a brand new episode of WrestleSlam. I'm joined by the usual team of Elizabeth, Jura, Tim, Matt, and Phil. It's been a crazy couple of days. WrestleMania 37, it was immense. I think the first day, for me, was probably the best. Just that whole wait with the storm and stuff. It was quite tense, seeing the wrestlers being dragged in for interviews, kind of not being ready was pretty cool. First of all, we've seen some championship change. Obviously, Roman Reigns is still champion. Bobby Lashley is still champion, but when it comes to the females, obviously Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, new champs. Elizabeth, first of all, did you enjoy WrestleMania, and what did you make of day one and day two? And if you could pick one, what day suited you the best? What one was number one for you?
Sure. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it, to be honest. I don't think anybody knew what to expect with the fans back for the first time. So it was a little bit apprehensive, but like excited as well. And of course, obviously with the threatening storm as well, it was like, oh my God, after all, this is not going to go ahead. But thoroughly enjoyed it. For me, night one edged night two. Okay, not edged, but like for me, by a country mile. I was a bigger fan of night one than I was of night two. Even with the finish of the main event on night two, night one was definitely my preference. Great to see Bianca Belair go over. I thought they put on a stellar performance. Whipped hair and everything. I just thought that was going to be hard to top night two. But a lot of night two matches just seemed a little bit too rushed, and their build was actually quite short or maybe a little bit pointless. So I thought night one felt better prepared for me. So yeah, definitely.
Joe, what's your take? Obviously, it's you can only go as far as to say WrestleMania night one could have been cancelled if that weather storm did not clear. You can see it was out of their hands completely.
Definitely, it could have. First time in the history of WrestleMania, but Vince was never going to allow that to happen. I know they had some sort of contingency plan for night two because the rain was forecast for night two, not night one at all. So they had something planned up for night two, but I don't know if would they have time to put it in place for night one. But thankfully, it didn't delay them too much, and we got to see what some of the superstars are actually able to do when they're not scripted. You know, when they're live and they have to talk, and some of them pulled it out of the bag. Well, Kevin Owens definitely did, and I didn't mind the Drew McIntyre Bobby Lashley thing either. Like it was kind of good to hype up the first match. But after the end of night one, night two had a lot to live up to, and starting off with the Fiend and Randy Orton bollocks, it was downhill from there. Like they never stood a chance.
No, and like obviously we seen that first match obviously with Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. Tim, it's fair to say the place erupted, like the pop. You could see the adrenaline going through Drew McIntyre. It was immense. Obviously, we've seen the outcome. Obviously, Bobby's still champion, which probably means Vince is quite happy to move forward with Bobby. Obviously, maybe work towards that Bobby and Brock Lesnar match at SummerSlam. But what was your take on night one and night two? What would you pick as your favorite night? And do you think that maybe moving forward, I know we messaged this in the group chat, but are we going to see possibly a night one and night two moving forward from next year on?
Night one was the better night, as we all said. My favourite match of the whole thing was McIntyre and Lashley, which I didn't think it would be. I thought it was going to be lackluster, but they'd done it right. They had a great match, and then obviously Lashley annihilated them at the end and basically just threw them around like a rag doll, which was brilliant because they are obviously building out to Brock Lesnar versus Lashley. There's Goldberg no one else that could be built.
Goldberg first.
Yeah, he'll annihilate Goldberg. That's grand. I don't mind that. We get over that part. I want Goldberg to come in anyway because I like him and I like seeing Philip's face when he comes in. But yeah, it's good and they're building to that. Night two was a bit lackluster, like so. As we said, that rubbish with the Fiends was just, and I love the Fiend character, and I don't know what they're doing. I literally don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lashley, best part of it. They just built him up as the star he should be. It won't be 2 nights from now on. WWE won't do it. They only done the 2 nights. They're not going to sell out Dallas next year if it's 2 nights because it's 102,000 people it can hold. They're not going to sell 200,000 tickets for WrestleMania. They couldn't sell out 2 nights this year. They said it was sold out. It wasn't. They were trying to sell tickets up to a few hours before it, like so.
But do you not think with everything open next year, with all European borders open, and the fact that, look, when we all go to WrestleMania, we all have money, we're all going to spend. do you think if they done some deal where, like, you got, say, 2 tickets for $400 or something, people would do it?
No. Like, if you're coming all the way over there now and say you're flying in from Europe and when the tickets go on sale, you get a ticket they put them on sale at the same time. And if if they only have a certain amount in a package, double package, then they have some singly for night 1, some singly for night 2. If I'm going from Ireland and I can only get a ticket to night 1 and I can't get a ticket to night 2, I'm not going to WrestleMania. I'm not going to fly over there if I can only go to half the show.
Yeah.
Then
if they done something where you could only get that package, so there's
they won't do that because some people won't be able to afford, like, some tickets to WrestleMania are cheap, some tickets are dear. Like, I generally try and go for good tickets every year. I know some people don't. Like, I don't see the reasoning for going to WrestleMania if you're not going to be down close. If you're going to be watching this on the screens, what's the point in traveling from Ireland for it?
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely, it needs to go back to one night. I didn't mind the 2 nights watching it at home. I know everyone is saying, oh, one night is too long and this and that. But do what they done. I know they had the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and this and that on SmackDown. I thought I'd hate it, and I actually enjoyed it because they got time to do stuff. Whereas previously they used to do it in the pre-show, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and there used to be nobody at it. Everyone used to be still outside the stadium. So don't build up to 15 matches in an 8-hour show. Do maybe a 4-hour show. I don't mind being there for a 4-hour show.
Yeah.
Even Matt, 8 matches is enough.
Yeah, no, it is. Matt, what's your take? Obviously, Mania was good. You probably stayed up for that Jake Paul fight last night as well, did you?
Just no comment. I post this on my Twitter soon, so that's for another day. Right, okay, I'll just do this now. Just get on done with. Lads, we're speeding through this podcast. It's really fast. What is this? The Jake Paul versus Ben Askren fight? Okay, I'm done. No, anyway. I'm just seeing Gary. He's nodding his head like, no, it's done. But anyway, I'm not Shaq. So I think the 2 best matches of night 1 has to be Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre and the ending of Sasha Banks versus Brie Belair. I think I kind of enjoyed. I think we all kind of just said the same thing. The reason why the opening match was better was because, to me, it was a straight up squash match. It was just like to make sure that Bobby Lashley was dominant, and just like what Tim said, tossing Drew McIntyre around like a rag doll kind of proved that he will be a dominant champion here on out. Like, so granted, Drew did, like, of course, toss a few fights in, but the way Bobby Lashley won cleanly, not like cheating his way to win, actually putting in the hurt lock, was kind of just like proving his point. So, I'm not going to jinx it, but I hope that WWE doesn't, fuck this up with Bobby. They have something good. And if we see a Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar match on the line, that'd be perfect. And as for the Brie Belair versus Sasha Banks, I enjoyed it because I kind of felt like it was a good back and forth type of match. Like, I kind of thought they were going to pull like a Stone Cold versus Bret Hart on this. Sasha Banks coming in as like a heel, and Brie Belair comes in as a face, and then they're going to like change it around. Brie Belair is going to do every heel tactic. Sasha Banks will kick out. I feel like they were going to do that with how Brie Belair won, but it was still a great match to me. I think I always like the back and forth type of match. Who's going to win this? So those are my 2 picks, definitely.
Love it. Phil, what was your take? Obviously, you've been a busy man ever since Mania. You're constantly doing stuff, but what was your take on night 1 and night 2? And you're a good man to switch off. You'll always switch off when Mania's on as well, which is good.
I see online a lot of people talking about how good Cesaro Rollins was. I actually was very disappointed in it. It was like 10 minutes, not even. And the only good thing about the match is that spin with the no arms. That was really good.
Yeah.
I just thought that night 1 was better and night 2 was rushed. And Reigns' match was the best match on the whole thing.
Yeah. Best match on night 2 anyway.
Well, the thing with Lashley is that ending should mean that Drew never challenges him again. He's beaten him, he's squashed him up. Why is he fighting him again?
They just want to go to, they're doing all like rematches, I'd say, at this show, because they're calling it WrestleMania Backlash, load of rubbish.
Yeah.
Lazy.
And the same thing with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, way too short.
Yeah.
They got more time on SmackDown than they did in WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
At least that Langer didn't get a chance to interfere in the match or do anything in it, really. So.
But what I really loved is Reigns pinning the 2 guys was brilliantly done.
Yes.
phenomenal. Yeah.
But a lot of
Let's
people actually said Edge won the match because Edge is on top of Bryan.
Yeah, but sure, look, that will always happen. Like, speaking of Roman Reigns, obviously, like, look, he's the main guy in the company at the moment. He is absolutely fucking phenomenal. Like, he's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Like, it's really made him. So, like, 10 years down the road, you're going to say, do you remember that time when Roman was like that?
Yeah.
He's just incredible, lads. Like, we're all obsessed. We're all watching the head of the table.
Well, it's the way he should have been booked for years ago instead of ramming in our faces.
Yeah. Like, he's just unbelievable. Like, Elizabeth and Joe, what's your take on Roman at the moment? How can you see him if he's ever going to drop the belt? How is it going to happen? You know, what can you see him do next? Obviously, we've seen Cesaro come out in SmackDown. I love the way he just fucked off. He just walked away.
Total ultimate show of disrespect and just the arrogance and the whole bravado of it. And as he should be, he serves well as a cocky champion and like a dominant champion and getting Jey Uso to do all his work. So as Phil said, Roman's doing his best work now. When he beat Taker that time, they should have turned him full and he should have been the biggest dick in the world because nobody liked him. Nobody liked him being constantly pushed into our faces because we're like, this is just it. We know, not been funny and not that we would dictate much, but we do because, as Tim said, we spend a lot of money to go and see matches that we find interesting, not what we think will fit the bill at the last minute and we'll just, let's just not turn him, let's turn him. And as we know, there was last minute decisions for WrestleMania this year as well. Like, that's not what I pay my money for. And I'd like to think that, yes, our opinion has some kind of influence on what we want to see. So the fact that he is just money at the moment, we chatted about this. We felt like we're always chatting. We chatted about this, but we did. Well, I probably chatted and he listened. But we chatted about this, we were, when something is so right in WWE that all of a sudden it goes completely tits up because somebody had a meltdown or somebody had a change of plan and they fuck it up royally. That's the fear with Roman Reigns because it's so good that then we're going to get this mad idea. Hopefully, it would be nice to drag the arse out of it until, he faces The Rock. I think that would be something else to seal him as the head of the family. But I like that Cesaro has been inserted into this in some way, but not sure how it's going to end up because, 2 minutes, right? But the fact that Seth Rollins is still in a feud with Cesaro, I like because they did not have enough time to build up a credible feud before their Mania match. So I don't hate that that's continuing because I think that was needed. It was too short before their match. Sorry, you go.
But I think Cesaro's going to win. There's money in the bank, Cesaro.
Yeah, I think Heyman's going to screw. I think Heyman's going to screw Reigns to help Cesaro win the title. Cesaro was a Paul Heyman guy.
He wasn't. He wasn't.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
Can you imagine?
Sure. Is it fair to say it's now or never for Reigns and The Rock? So like it has to be pretty much the next WrestleMania, doesn't it? If it's ever going to happen.
I don't know if it'll ever happen. Everybody wants it to happen. I don't think it'll be next year. I think The Rock's going to be too busy. Maybe Hollywood, maybe LA. Like that'll be the ideal place for it to happen. Like big Hollywood match. But whether Roman's still the tribal chief by then, it's hard to know with the way WWE booking goes. He could be a face again by then.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have to win the title. He doesn't have to keep the title until then. He can lose it a few times or win it a few times. Then, I think it's going to end up with Jimmy and Jey Uso taking him out in a match where it's just no disqualification and somebody's going to pin him and they're going to have some sort of feud.
That's what's going to happen. Yeah.
He's treating Jey so badly that Jimmy's been cleared since December. So I don't know what they're waiting for with him. Like why nobody got called up or why nobody made any surprise appearances on SmackDown this week is. Yeah. I don't know what their plan is.
It is bizarre. So Timmy reckons obviously Heyman's going to screw.
I think it's Money in the Bank.
What you reckon, Phil? What's your outcome of the whole thing?
Money in the Bank for Cesaro, and Cesaro will win the belt.
Yeah.
That night?
I don't know about that night, but it might be progress. It might be a long build, but yeah.
Yeah. I think when the belt does go on him, he needs Heyman with him because he can't talk.
Yeah, good call.
That's why I think by having Reigns screwed as well by him, and he's not losing the belt clean.
Yeah.
So it still keeps him strong also. And there's a bit of a backstory they can bring up how he was a Heyman guy, and the way Roman Reigns keeps saying he's not a Paul Heyman guy. Paul Heyman's a Roman Reigns guy.
Is he a baby face or a heel? Cesaro.
Oh, he'll be a babyface. He'll be like Stone Cold was.
Yeah.
Going after the fellas and just doing what he wants.
Yeah. Matt, what's your take on the outcome?
Yeah. Now, of course, I pull for Cesaro no matter, and I'm delighted to see that he's getting a lot of notice, especially after WrestleMania. But I can't see him winning like the championship as of yet. I know I keep like go on Cesaro, say it, but I can't see him winning it yet, especially with Roman, how hot his character is at the moment, and I could see that his character going far for another year or so at least. Might have to agree. I could see Paul Heyman like interfering the match and reminding Cesaro that Cesaro was a Paul Heyman guy. I completely forgot about that, so thanks, Tim. I completely forgot about that storyline existed. So they'll be kind of like refreshing as an app. Remember, you used to be a Paul Heyman guy, and maybe try and bring Cesaro in the stable with Roman Reigns and Jay. So that'll be something for me. But either way, I would like to see a decent match out of this.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, obviously, the use of, like, I always say Jay and Jimmy are huge. I remember them as a tag team. They were fantastic. But Jay has been incredible, guys.
Yeah.
Incredible. Like, I absolutely
that
adore him.
Hell in a Cell match was one of the best matches they've seen in ages.
Yeah, incredible. So is it just a case that Roman on SmackDown next week, the week after, just whips the living shit out of Jay in the ring, and then it's like, fuck this, Jimmy's going to come back, and then they're going to bet the living shit out of Roman. You know, it's hard to predict, but I think we're all kind of in the prediction that maybe Cesaro might be the next champion if he's going to drop it. If Reigns is going to drop, that is.
Before we leave Reigns there was a big story about him trying to get to Hollywood yesterday.
He will break Hollywood.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
I know he was in the last Fast and the Furious movie.
Yeah, but he was in the film as well. He's at the start of the film. I can't remember what it's called, but I watched it there a few weeks back, and it's a new film, and he's actually in the start. He's in a restaurant with his girlfriend, and some guy tries to chat up his girlfriend, and Reigns is like, "What are you doing?" I think it's an actual film with do you know the guy from the Happy Gilmore, the blondie guy, David Spade, is it?
Yeah.
I'll send the link. I'll send you the link, but it looks pretty good. I think Reigns will break Hollywood, no problem.
That's on
Good
Netflix.
speaker.
That's on Netflix.
Has the look.
Has everything. Everything. Do you know what I mean?
He has The Rock in his corner as well.
Yeah,
He's break him in.
Totally. He'd be a great face for Seven Bucks Productions. You know, he would, totally. And, they're all about the family.
You could see him as Aquaman.
Yeah. No, it'll be massive. Massive. Right, lads, we have to talk quickly about Jericho on the Broken Skull sessions, because we obviously touched base about that before we actually seen it. Matt, did you get a chance to watch it by any chance?
Yeah, I watched. I listened to it while I was cooking dinner. If that was cheating, but anyway, I listened to all of it, especially with Talk of Jericho with Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I'm delighted that they weren't starting anything with AEW and WWE. I didn't want anyone to hear Chris Jericho mention about AEW, the wrestlers, and mention Tony Khan, and all of us are going to be like, oh God, he mentioned AEW. Oh, there's going to be an open door. No, I'm just delighted Chris Jericho came in, talked to Stone Cold. They were just talking about wrestling, about all the great moments, and I absolutely loved it. It was probably one of my best listenings of a podcast in a while, because they were mentioning about moments of Chris Jericho. I actually watched Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 19 because I forgot how brilliant that was, and about Chris Jericho's favorite moments, especially with the tag team with Kevin Owens. So this would be definitely something to listen to if you're a Chris Jericho fan or just a general wrestling fan, that you can easily just look over and maybe just remember, I remember this moment by Chris Jericho. So I absolutely loved it. I love, again, they didn't try and start anything. And I feel like WWE is acknowledging that there are other companies out there like AEW. Because we're not stupid, lads. We're not like, oh, WWE is the only wrestling place ever. No. It's they're going to acknowledge that, yeah, AEW is there and everything. So I was liking it just because they were just talking about wrestling. So I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Love it. Tim, what was your take, brother? Obviously, look, it was huge that they announced it prior to WrestleMania. Jericho, we never thought we'd see the day where he's back kind of working and doing something with WWE, but it worked out really well, and the stories were fantastic.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd be allowed to talk as in depth about AEW as he was. I was afraid they were going to censor it, and then I would have enjoyed it. But I think it was my favorite Broken Skulls yet, and I'm a big Undertaker fan. I love the 2 Undertaker ones, but this one I'd say it was just for the fact that they were talking about stuff we didn't think they'd be allowed to talk about.
Yeah,
that I enjoyed it so much. But like, it was great. It shows like how much he loves the business stuff. It shows like he doesn't hold any grudges. He's nothing against Vince McMahon, that he doesn't, and Vince is nothing against him. It's just all about the money. I still think Chris Jericho will retire in WWE and not in AEW.
Yeah, me too.
It'll be another couple of years. That's why I thought he'd go into the Hall of Fame, but it won't be till he retires.
He has about 9 months left. He's about 9 months left.
No, they were saying that he has 2 years left. No, they're saying Meltzer had up, like, and he seems to have the no in AEW stuff because he's under payroll probably. But like, I honestly think he'll retire in WWE, but I really enjoyed it, and it showed like WWE. Punk is right though. I don't think WWE fair AEW. They wouldn't have allowed. Like, look at the promotion they gave him. Like, they have had their second best ever ratings week after it.
Yeah.
Everyone are saying, oh, maybe that's to do with Mike Tyson. Tyson's been there before. I think people that never saw AEW have seen it now.
Yeah, you're right there. That story with Haku in the airport was mad, where Jericho was being, and they said there was a big scream, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" And then Haku came over and started fucking picking everyone up. Like, because we always say he's the toughest guy in the business, Haku, like Ming. Do you know what I mean? Apparently,
I love the story about the cupcakes in Vince's house.
Yeah.
The brownies.
Oh, the brownies. Yeah.
that was brilliant. But it's just the way Jericho was like, I was kind of swiping guys away. Next thing, hey, what the fuck are you doing? And Haku runs towards everyone, like, and he picked up this guy and he got put into a cell. Like, it's fucking brilliant, like.
Yeah.
But I think the stories. I love a good old wrestling story. Look, I'm going to say it. Jericho for me is easily the top 5 of all time.
Well,
he is, and like, he's recreated himself so many times over the years. You know, like with the whole, ECW, WCW, then obviously that Raw debut with The Rock, and then obviously
that was a question that wasn't brought up, which I would have loved to hear his thoughts on it. Why was CM Punk, why was the belt taken off CM Punk in 2008 for no reason?
Yeah, it's just like that's. I suppose these guys know what they're doing. Like, they'll obviously keep bigger stories for another time.
What really annoyed me when I was back in the day.
Yeah, it's surreal, but like, it is a bit jarred. Did you enjoy it? Did you stay up and watch it straight after Mania, or did you just record and get back to it?
Well, we watched it on the Sunday afternoon. It was open.
Yeah.
It was great. Again, I was so respectful. You know how much Chris Jericho loves Vince McMahon. Like, he never since he left WWE did he speak a bad word about him. Even when he didn't, get his contract or they weren't doing anything with him, he still refused to talk anything shit about him. Like, so, and you could tell that Vince loves him as well. He was allowing somebody like that. Like, he wouldn't let anybody else do that. Like, at all, talk about any other company. Even when Sami Zayn tried to pull it out at that time and the electric chair episode thing, and he said AEW, like, the electric chair episode never happened again after that. Like, so I'm delighted that they're allowed, because you can feel it that he's going to obviously be in the Hall of Fame in a few years' time, like, and he's not getting cast aside like some people do. When Vince had to grudge against someone, he's definitely not got a grudge against Chris Jericho.
No, you could tell obviously that the respect is there between him and Vince. And Vince, obviously, like, Vince does respect people, but like, it's just that case of, look, Jericho's in that little bracket with Cena and The Rock and the Taker. We always talk in Austin and maybe Brock. He's definitely in that category, like, has to be.
Yeah. Definitely. And even, as you say, not everybody has that. I mean, Vince is, he's cordial with people, and, he's like respectful of their work and stuff like that. But there's definitely something there in a bond there, you can tell. And even when he's telling the story about being in Vince's house, it was very, very evident that Vince wanted him and wanted him badly. But even it was great to get an insight to how Jericho's mind works as well. He is completely 100% invested physically, mentally, and emotionally in every character he develops, and how he evolved Chris Jericho like to that next level. There were so many layers to that character, it's nuts. And the fact that he was able to identify quite easily that he needs to make a change to relate to, I suppose, new fan bases and things like that as well. But he also identifies how far he has come by being that go-to person in AEW for advice, questions, suggestions, criticism, and things like that. So it was really nice to get that side of him too.
Definitely. Phil, what was your take on it? Obviously, look, it was a huge thing. It was good for us to start to show it there last time around. But what was your take? Did you enjoy it?
I did. It probably, as Tim said, it was the best one because they were just talking about just stuff that they weren't allowed to say and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I liked hearing all the old stuff about how unhappy he was in the first 6 months once he came in.
Yeah.
He was supposed to actually be in the Mania main event, but he didn't talk about that. But he was supposed to be in the WrestleMania 2000 main event.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. Yeah.
He was on all the posters and everything. But overall, it was really, 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 really good. Really.
Yeah. I
suppose the lads have said everything I'm going to say, so I don't want to be repeating ourselves, but it was just outstanding.
Yeah, I was going to, because I mentioned before in his book, No is a 4-letter word. Chris Jericho would actually explain how even all the moments that he had to do storyline wise, that he had to do it anyway. Vince would give him the okay if he's like, "Are you comfortable with this story?" He would keep going because he knows this is a new way to develop himself. There's a new way to like develop himself in the business and as a wrestler and as a person. So it feels like that Chris Jericho definitely is the go-to guy, like Elizabeth said in AEW, because every moment he gets into the arena of whatever wrestling company he's in, he develops himself even more. He explains it more about it in the book. So that's what is so good about Chris Jericho. Some fellas will be like, I don't want to do this storyline or this is stupid. He would go for it because he knows this is good for business and this is good for him. So he has a good mindset.
Goes back to Goldberg again with his stealing his match at WrestleMania with Kevin Owens. That should have been the main event.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Personally, I was just going to say about our favorite stories. I think my favorite story Chris Jericho said was the most relatable moment. He said this at one of the Inside the Ropes about the aftermath of him becoming undisputed champion when he went back to the hotel room.
Oh yeah.
And the hotel clerk says, "What's in the room?" And Chris Jericho the strip says, "You're going to see 2 world titles on my bed." So I was like, "Yeah, go on, Chris."
Yeah, no, I love him to bits. I always look at he's easily top 5 of all time for me, and I think I agree with him and everyone when we say he will end up back in WWE. Because obviously he spent so many years there, you just can't ignore that. Obviously we love WWE, and there's times that we hate it. Superstars being released, Elizabeth's ready to punch the wall. Tim probably fucking thinks Samoa Joe and a couple are a disgrace, but lads, we've seen a number of releases for budget reasons. Now, obviously we've seen a new commentator come in, good old Pat, and some people actually agree that's a good move.
He's the best announcer on the brand at the moment because he was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, John Elizabeth, what's your take on the releases? There is some surprises there. Obviously, look, there's some, some are on the brink and won't get TV time, but like Samoa Joe obviously can't get cleared. The Iconics. What's your take on the releases, and do you think there's more to come? Because we reckon NXT reckon there's going to be a couple of announcements not recently. In the next day or two, there's going to be a couple. They reckon it could be another 10 more names leave by next week. So what's your take on the releases so far?
Shocked, saddened, angry, disappointed, all of the above, multiplied by 10. Disgusted, to be honest. Look, we all know how businesses work. We all know that the biggest expense of a business is its staff. We know that. But it's very, very hard to get that across when you are running record profits. Now, obviously, it's very, very easy to say that. It's like you're making loads of money, but you're letting people go. Most businesses are, But to do that and then refer to them constantly as, independent contractors, but we have to make budget cuts. It's a little bit 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, and so that's leaving a sour taste in so many people's mouths. The good thing is that there's so many places for them to go. For them to break, I'm so disgusted about this, to break up a tag team like the fucking Iconics, who are so annoying that you can't help to love them. They were so good, and to give Peyton Royce the rub, because of course Vince loves the bodybuilding, loves the appearance, because she won a major title in wasn't bodybuilding, she won a major title in, and looked phenomenal. And the following week, mate, she was out there and she was giving it socks, her own entrance, the whole shebang. And then you have someone like Billie Kay, who is as entertaining as fuck. She got herself over. Again, that is the curse of it. If you get yourself over and you're not created by them, you're fucked. And I felt so bad for her, because she's unreal and she's so funny. 4 or 5 days after her WrestleMania match with Carmella, and she's let go. I was like, you bunch of pricks. I was disgusted for her. She's unreal. No, she'll be a star wherever she goes, because she has it. Couldn't give a fuck what Dunn says. She has it. The Rock thinks that she has it. And if he can't see it, because he was the OGs, he's one of the boys, he's one of the OGs. And the sooner he goes, the better for all talent to evolve and move on. Because he is just literally that itch on your arse that you cannot get rid of until you get a cream. And that cream is when he goes, so disgusted over them, and Peyton Royce as well. So hope to see them together outside.
Peyton Royce is definitely a good call, because I know when she left the Iconics, they were going to give her that push, that singles push. Probably lasted 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If that.
If that. And then they whacked her into a tag team with Lacey Evans.
She was one of the Paul Heyman girls. He was...
She was very good on Raw Talk, because she really spoke her mind on it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a fucking joke. Tim, what's your take? Obviously, I didn't realise that Samoa Joe couldn't get clear. I remember saying to you, Samoa Joe.
I think Joe's done. I don't think AEW will clear him. I think they'll see if WWE are refusing to clear a guy who they could make money off, there's definitely something up. If it's not even his matches in WWE, everyone is saying, but he only hurt himself once or twice. His matches in Ring of Honor, he done a lot of injuries. You look at the facts, there's him, Daniel Bryan, and Nigel McGuinness. They all had the same styles, and all 3 of them have, 2 of them are gone now. Daniel Bryan's only back, and he's working a reduced schedule and all that. I don't think Joe should wrestle again if the injuries are that bad that WWE won't clear him. Not like he's a big name for him, as in he was great in NXT. I don't know how he never won the world title. I don't think AEW, they have such a big roster as it is, they don't need to be risking bringing a guy in who has a history of head injuries to try and clear him, to bring him in for a match, and what if something happens to him? I think he'll retire. I think he wants to wrestle. WWE's doctors, and I believe his own doctors, and all have said that they won't clear him. So I think WWE released him because they're not going to be able to pay him the money that he has on his downside guaranteed to be an announcer. I presume announcers run way less money, and maybe he just didn't want to do it anymore, because he looked like at WrestleMania, he looked pissed off. He looked like he didn't want to be doing it.
Yeah.
So I think he's done. I think he's going to retire.
Money's made. How old is Samoa Joe? Is he
42?
42. So he's young, but his money is made. But I genuinely think he's going to retire. A lot of my friends there that I've been talking to all agree with me. They didn't first, and then they realized about his Ring of Honor stuff, and they go, yeah, maybe he does. There's some stuff like when he done the drop kick in the stands against Sting as well. There was no need for it. He landed on his head. There's no need for any of that stuff. It shortens your career.
Well, Phil, what's your take on this whole Keith Lee thing? Look, it's probably worth bringing up, but look, he is trending, and would you be surprised if Keith Lee was released by WWE?
It wouldn't surprise me. And the thing about Keith Lee as well is he can actually use that name wherever he goes. I think he can anyway.
He wouldn't.
I don't think he'll be released at all.
Yeah, bizarrely though, this is a strange thing. I'm actually friends with Keith Lee on Facebook, right? How I don't know, but he's actually got a private page on Facebook.
Well, I think it might be true. Well, we met him that time, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and he doesn't use the Keith Lee name. It's something different. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's the things he put up is it's incredible. Like, he's always saying, "I know, guys, I know."
Yeah.
So the way he sees all that stuff on Twitter. I know, guys, I know. It's just a process. Just have to go with it.
You know, it would be interesting for him actually if they put him with the Aleister Black.
No,
Well, yeah.
no.
We see that Aleister Black promo. Is that Aleister Black NXT or main roster?
It hasn't come on Raw or SmackDown, so I don't know where it's going.
I'd say he's going to NXT.
He should with Ricochet, because we obviously remember
Not with Ricochet. He needs to start out against
Nikki Cross.
You remember his match, lads? His match at Takeover in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Against Ricochet, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
So would you not put Ricochet back there with him, because
their characters don't suit each other? They're going all the star character. Ricochet can't play that.
No, but against each other, like.
He's going to come up with a faction, I believe. So I don't know what they're going to do.
Hopefully, Nikki Cross, because that's another one who I fear is going to get released.
Yeah. She's lost at the moment, Nikki.
I think it's going to be NXT releases this time. I think they've done what they're doing on the main roster, and they're going to release. How the Velveteen Dream still has a job when all these guys are getting released is beyond me. So I presume he's on top of the list.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, his career's over when he gets released.
Exactly.
He's done.
What about action against the Way?
That's Black's pickup coming in. Like, I know they're showing him as a dark force. That doesn't mean they're bad guys. Like the Ministry of Darkness, well, they were like this. That's the way they're going to go over the night.
Someone like Nikki Crosby with him.
Yeah, it's good because there's women in that group.
Yeah.
Question, like, obviously, look, it's never nice to throw out names, but Phil, do you reckon there's going to be more names released?
No, I don't think. I think that's it.
Yeah. Tim?
I think some NXT stars will be released. There mightn't be the big names, but there is too many there. If so many to come in yet from the performance center that they've hired recently, like Parker Bordeaux and stuff, that once they're ready to come in, where are they meant to fit in? And if they're obviously bringing Aleister Black and stuff back from the main roster, they do need to trim some. I'm not saying any big names. There's some names there that just need to go. I think Velveteen Dream will go, and I don't know, is there anyone that's on television in NXT at the moment going to go? But they're going to trim the fat because there's 60 or 70 people technically in NXT.
And what their salaries are actually pretty decent every year. I think they're all on 100 grand or something.
Starting off NXT is like 50 grand.
It's not bad.
50 and like,
salary,
so like they will go.
Yeah. Jordan Elizabeth, do you reckon we're gonna get any surprises as the days go on?
I hope nobody gets sacked. I don't want anybody ever to get sacked. Like, but obviously there's people that are not being used, and they're probably better off if they went somewhere else. Like, but with NXT, I don't think they'll have the 90-day release clause either if they're not.
Yeah.
If they're on developmental contracts,
Taz might have a go off again.
Say again.
Taz might have a go off again.
Taz can have a go off me all he wants. He still lost. He deleted the tweets. Leave him off.
Can he really have a go?
I actually had put down Taz as people who won't go on the podcast and wrote in, all right, Taz. So there we go.
I put him down as what should have been a stain on someone's sheet. Next question.
No, Taz is brilliant. I love Taz.
Couldn't give a flying.
Calm down. It's only Taz.
Oh, yes. That could be our promo for the show.
You're just another victim.
Yeah, I agree.
It was funny because he deleted everything.
Yeah.
Exactly, which is admission of guilt, so fuck off, Taz.
Guys, if you are watching right now, make sure you follow Irish Wrestling Entertainment, because incredible interaction as always. The Simpsons stuff is just fucking epic. I love it. And everything else. Jordan Elizabeth are the masterminds behind that as well. So make sure you follow that on Twitter. I love it. And there's we always get a bit of hate and we always get a bit of love. But sometimes when you get the hate, it's pretty good. It's nice to get some hate sometimes.
So yeah, I was just gonna say cheers to Elizabeth and Gary, because like if I'm like in a meeting or if I'm editing a video, I would go on Twitter and I would see like a wrestling Simpsons meme. I would like, my day's made. So cheers, lads.
They are epic. So yeah, pretty much coming towards the end of the show. Obviously, look, we spoke releases, WrestleMania, SmackDown. We didn't mention Raw for obvious reasons. Yeah, and
AEW, the ratings, yeah.
You know what? AEW. You know what? This week, Impact was the best wrestling show of the whole week.
Yes.
Yeah. And we love Impact. We love Impact.
So good. And actually, Rebellion next week as well, the pay-per-view.
I can't wait for Rebellion.
Yeah.
Mamma mia.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be some great matches. I believe we have two Impact stars on with us next week as well, so do stay tuned to the YouTube channel for that. We'll speak about Rebellion quickly. obviously, look, it's hyping up nicely. Impact has been good, Phil. You've watched a lot. I've watched a lot of highlights.
It's really annoying because they were at 2 million viewers years ago, and now they're barely scraping 200,000 when they're producing some of the best stuff they've done in like 6-7 years.
But it comes down to the whole team with Dixie Carter, and look, the company were really fucked about. Like,
well, she's gone, yeah.
Yeah, it just look, they had everything, but like you see what happened in over the years. Like they could have been non-existent, only that they were saved, But like obviously the main event is Rich Swann and Kenny Omega. It's going to be a good match.
Yeah, and there's only one outcome, like because Rich isn't winning the AEW belts.
I think Omega wins, and I think then Moose shows up in AEW to win the belts back.
Yeah,
That's the way to do
I
it.
was going to say that the other day. Yeah.
I don't think he's gone from Impact. I think they want us to think if he was gone, I think WWE would have announced him by now as a signing for the Performance Center.
Yeah.
Or AEW would have jumped. I think he's re-signed with Impact and he's going to show up to win back his belts.
There's a match, Sammy Callahan and Trey Miguel is going to be the match of the night.
It's huge, and obviously we have Dave Finlay and Juice Robinson against the Good Brothers. That'd be great. Like I think the Knockout Women's Championship match is going to be brilliant with Deanna and Tenelle Dashwood. That is going to be. I think they're fucking incredible.
And then Taylor Wilde is also back in Impact.
Yeah, I've seen that. And do you see there's going to be a surprise guest with Jordy and Grace?
Yeah, I reckon Rachel Ellering.
Yeah.
She's announced. Announced already. They said they have another woman coming as well, though.
Okay.
She's confirmed as re-signing with them, but they said
if anyone out there's not watching it, they need to watch it because it's just it's so good at the moment.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good. And obviously we have Mark O'Donnell and Brian Myers, two former WWE wrestlers, new aliases. Going to be mad.
It's actually turned out to be a pretty good pay-per-view. I'm looking forward to it. Like I watch Impact every week, and it's got better and better as the months have gone on.
Also, a really cool 8-man tag as well.
I missed that Zach right on him, to be honest.
Yeah, but he doesn't own it, like, so he has to go under the name he owns. Like,
it's an awful shame, like.
Yeah.
But WWE won't leave you username if they think you're going to make money out of it.
Yeah, just a joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
I always just feel like Impact, because I feel like at the moment Impact is getting more recognition as it was before. I think it's because of the whole open door of Kenny Omega coming on Impact. We're finally realizing how good Impact really is. Because, like, to be honest, lads, look, I enjoy Impact, but I won't be the best when it comes to weekly episodes. But every time I watch like a new episode of Impact or like a pay-per-view, I keep saying to myself, I need to stay to watch this because
it's actually free on the Impact Plus app for everyone. The next day.
Exactly. Because I feel like if you're watching like a new episode, like, because you might be worried, be like, last week this wrestler did this to this. No, they'll actually full on catch up with you, so you'll be able to enjoy it.
The only thing I don't like is all that weird lighting.
Yeah. It's look, as I said, I think like production-wise, they're fantastic. They break everything down for the fans that don't stay up in Europe to watch it because obviously, look, time difference and all that kind of stuff, but. No, it's. I'm really looking forward to Rebellion and looking forward to speaking to Impact stars next week. Last of all, I have to mention, obviously, we're seeing SmackDown and Raw. It's now on Virgin Media. It reminds me of the old days, guys, when we used to get up on a Saturday morning and watch Sky One and watch, Attitude and all that kind of stuff. So for all the young wrestling fans around Ireland, I hope you're all enjoying Virgin Media. I think it's Virgin Media 1. They're obviously showing the wrestling in the morning. So it just reminds me of when I was a child and getting up Saturday morning to watch Soccer AM and then watching the wrestling. Epic times. Jor, Elizabeth, Matt, Tim, and Phil, thank you very much for joining me today. Looking forward to seeing you in person quite soon. I think we're looking forward to maybe getting closer to meeting up and doing live shows where we're all on camera at the same time. Maybe them in the Pear Cove or maybe the old Head of King Sale. Oh, God only knows where we'll be. You know what I mean? Because Phil has got some great ideas when it comes to sets and all that kind of stuff. But look, honor as always, guys. We'll catch you soon. And thank you to everyone that's tuned into all our episodes throughout WrestleMania and throughout 2021. Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers, lads.
Bye.